you have this before, during the hiring process, and after impression that I guess developed over time. Did it match? Did your vision of what the company is like match before you got into it, or maybe something changed?
No, no. I think it's been an interesting relationship development, if you put it this way. But I got married because before I got to the job, so this job doesn't apply to me. I think when you start and you consider an employment, right, you typically pursue your own interest and motivation in an ideal way, right? So my case was, okay, I want to develop marketing skills in digital. There is a great new whole market like global economy and so on. So who are major players over there where I can benefit, right? And Google was very natural, pop up out of there. Then you start to learn about the company. And yes, the company is really, has a great reputation. And I think it sticks to it, to this reputation when you get to it. And then when you start talking to the people, I think when this is getting more exciting, because I am a big believer in the people rather than in like corporations or any corporate logos or anything, because I think people are driving everything. The corporate culture, all the projects which are coming out, they are created by people who tend to be happen like a big family in a corporation or so. And obviously, and then the people really got me excited because they were, interesting, open. They were very challenging, and they were really putting me to the edge of my knowledge and boundaries. So I really understood that I would be able first to benefit something with my knowledge, but I also would be able still to learn a lot. That's a very important thing for me. Then when I get into the job, my relationship development was like, oh, what a mess. And then, oh, this is so overwhelming. And then, this is interesting. And it's like, oh, I'm like probably starting to understand that. And then, oh, this is like first result. And the first result probably came like about 6 months after I started. So the 6 months are typically, for me, they've been like the most difficult, because my learning curve has to be so dramatic, right? Because I came from a bit different industry and so on. I was kind of ready to it, but I was like semi-ready to it. So like first half a year, I was like, oh, maybe I made a mistake. I was enjoying so much my old marketing and so on. So, but the other thing is that at that point of time, you also realize how you understand how the company works inside, and what a great people are surrounding you who are ready to help. And I got like my buddies from other countries who were helping me out not to drown and to perform. I had my manager, and then again, it's all about people. And then you see how the culture works, how people are. There are so many different teams who are working on different projects and so on. At the moment you start understanding, you figure out how it works, and you are being able to contribute, and you see the result. I think result is very important, at least for me. You see the result, then again, it's become very exciting, right? So that's my kind of cycle of relationship. So it's been, and I think I'm up to it. I do love what I do at Google. I mean, it's been 3 years. I can now deliver, and I know what I was able to contribute. But what's more important, to contribute not only to Google as a company. I think the big opportunity and big benefit working at the company like that is that it actually, with its work, it help you to contribute to your country, to global economy by far. But I came with a big motivation that there is something which is also, I can help more within the new role, like to Ukrainian users, to Ukrainian businesses, to government, to communities, like to education and so on. And this has been a great fun, yeah. So and I think that's the big deal in the companies like Google. I can't say for others because I don't have experience, because it's really when there is a good match of the values and the culture of the company you are getting into, and something which you kind of created for yourself as a big motivation of yours, right? This is about personal mind experience, but this has been big for me. When I do a decision, so my 14 years is like 3 companies, right? So it's typically in 14 years you get much more. So it's 4 years, 9 years, now it's 3 years, and I still hope it's going to be longer. It really works out when you find a place and a community of people who share similar values, and I think Google is a good one at that.
So you came to the company seeking new challenges within the new industry for yourself, but you have discovered a mission of a lifetime, maybe?
I can say it's a mission of lifetime. I don't really like if you ask me what I want to achieve in life, it's a tough question, right? So it's not like for 5 minutes discussion, but
Sure.
I think there's been a number of matches over there which I post-rationalized for myself as well, because you don't necessarily kind of you are not often smart enough to predict everything which is going to happen with you, right? So there's been a consequent number of things. First is a conscious decision. Second is a good chance and consequences. Number of consequences which happened me to get into this opportunity. But two things. The first one is really, I got a bit stale in my previous job in terms of development. Although I do love marketing, I do love FMCG marketing. So it's a development. Second one, it's a opportunity to contribute more, giving back more through what company does to society. And these are two things.
Thank you. Javier?
Same. No. To be more serious, well, before entering Intel, so I did some interviews there, so I knew there were some doors where it's written staff only and no enter. So I was really curious and trying to imagine what was behind the doors. And I was really, my imagination was something really well organized. Everyone knows what he's doing with really fixed tasks. And I arrived, and so I was hired, and I was waiting to receive some tasks, and nothing was really well organized as I thought, and really the human part, it was something I didn't expect that was so much important. And so big part of the job is really to communicate with other teams and so on, because at Intel we are more than 100,000, and no one is going to keep a wiki up to date with what everyone's doing. No one will do that. So everyone's still working, and 100,000, it's an army. It's more than that. So everyone is working on projects, and it's really complicated and important to know a bit what is happening and how do you fit in that picture. And that was, I think, I also needed like 6 months to be able to navigate.
Well, if Google is a company, a mecca to web developers, I always imagined that Intel is the same deal for hardware developers. And in my imagination, there's an image of the Cartoon Network show called Dexter Laboratories. And when you walk into the office, there's all weird mechanisms and stuff like that. Scientists trying to find a solution to a conundrum. Does it match the real picture in any way?
At Intel, you can work in several different places. I'm not working in a fab, so with all that amazing stuff. But anyway, all the process now, it's down to 14 nanometers, so not much things to see. And Dexter would be in I don't know if you know, but a bunny suit. So it's all white suit, so because you need not even to have one particle that's not allowed in the building. You don't have your badge, no.
Not to confuse with the Dexter, the Maniac guy. That's a different TV show. Yes.
It's also clean work.
It is. David?
Before I joined Google, I had the impression that Google is a bunch of strange geniuses working together, and after I joined, it's like I have the impression it's a bunch of geniuses and me. So yeah, and behind the scenes, I thought I saw those big projects, great tools, great products for people like Gmail and so on. I was really surprised how few people work on that. Actually, I mean, we have, I don't know how many people we have, like 50,000 in total, maybe 25 is engineers, but I mean, it's not like thousands of people are working on the big things.
Yeah, according to Wiki, it's about 55,000 people over the world.
We are hiring.
They are hiring.
Yeah. And did your impression of the company change over time? So what did you think about Google before you joined them?
Well, it didn't change that much. I thought it's a little bit more organized in the way that I would expect from the big corporation. So all these talks about like how we are still startup, we are in that many places we are, and I think we shouldn't be anymore. I mean, I think I wouldn't mind if we were a little bit more corporate-y at the moment. But yeah, it's a great company to work with. I like the one thing which I really like is you should rather ask for forgiveness rather than for permission, which gives you some freedom to try new things.
I've known few people from Microsoft and Google as well, and they all seem to have the same opinion that the hardest part is to get into the company. But inside the company, the atmosphere is way more relaxing and the processes are less demanding than in outsource industry, for instance. Was that true in terms of your experience?
Interesting. I wouldn't say it's less demanding. It's we have a lot of freedom, but on the other hand, we have a lot of responsibility. So I used to work like I was paid per hour or per day, so I know how it is to describe every hour of your work when you're a contractor or a freelancer. And right now it's totally different. Like I'm begging my boss to have a meeting with me every second week if he has time. It's like this. I mean, I'm running those markets. I mean, those countries here. I'm responsible for outcomes. But no one changes what time do I get to work, what time do I leave, what I do. No one tells me you should go to Ukraine for DevFest. No, it's like up to me if I should go there, if I should sponsor it or not. It's on my head, right?
So, counter to popular belief, Google is not a golden cage for developer. It's more of a national park.
Yeah, it's like your own national park. Yeah, imagine, I mean, I'm alone in my team in Poland, and actually in the region, my nearest colleague is in Prague. The next nearest colleague is in Milan. Of course, we get together from time to time, but it's a lot of personal work. Of course, I do work with GDGs, which is great. I work with Google Developer Experts, but I need to create those teams from scratch.